executive, you know, or you're a civil servant, everybody has to think about this and think how as a country can we have what we call a social compact. We have put many finance systems on an electronic platform to be like the modern world. And one of the platforms is this IPS, the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Management System. People have been busy adding extra people into the payroll and collecting the money. It's a form of fraud and corruption, and until we can put in systems that block this. If you don't put in the system, even if you find the people and throw them into jail, other people will come and do the same. We have put in the systems, and you know, when you say IPs, people's eyes blaze. Oh, by the way, we've handed over all whatever information we have to ICPC to proceed to look for those who will take the consequences. But on our side, by steadily implementing that program, 63,000 ghost workers have been weeded out, saving more than 200 billion naira for this economy. That if we push that to a logical end, we could get another 500 million naira. That is something.
Now that you brought up the issue of corruption, the World Bank has estimated that as a result of corruption, 80% of our energy resources, energy revenues benefit only 1% of the population. What institutions are being built to fight corruption?
I think, thank you for saying the word institutions, because that is another thing that I think we need to think about in Nigeria. Fighting corruption has several angles, and we must fight it. We must not give up. Fighting corruption means punishing people who are doing the corrupt act. But it also goes beyond that, because if you do not build institutions to check it, and the systems and mechanisms, you will not be able to that is the difference between us and the countries that we so love abroad. If you check, they've got the systems in place. We don't. So it's about time we started looking at what are those things. If you go to the oil sector, if you make an oil company that is commercialized, as has been put in the PIB bill, if they pass it, commercializing the NNPC, eventually even selling some parts of it to Nigerians so that they can account to Nigerians, they can even be quoted on the stock exchange, that will solve a lot of problems. Everybody will see how this performs instead of being a government department. That is what is in that PIB. That's why it is necessary for that to be passed, so we can move on to this openness, this transparency of the functioning. We really need it.
You talked about inequality a while ago. The rich are getting richer, not just in Nigeria, but everywhere in the world. And as you said, 1% of the world's population will soon be controlling more wealth than the rest of us. What is the likely social consequence of this, and what can we do to close the gap?
It's actually crucial. So the first thing we must do is create jobs so that our young people can be employed, or employ themselves or employ other people. That's the number one way to fight inequality and defeat poverty. The second way is that even if you create jobs, there are some people who will still be left behind for various reasons. They don't have adequate education, or it's not good enough, or you know, they are disabled, or they are in a vulnerable situation. You must create a safety net to help those people. I would just want to say, it's a very important question, that we are building that safety net now. We are creating a social safety net. What will it do? That social safety net takes a woman and her 5 children and will give them conditional cash transfers based on they are doing certain things. So it's not a free handout. What are those things? If you send your children to school, the woman will get a cash transfer. If you come for prenatal care, you get a cash transfer. If you send your girls to school, you get your children, especially the girls, you get a cash transfer. If you bring your child for immunization. So those are the conditions. You have to tax those who have more money and shift that money to those who, to service those who don't have. You have to redistribute the wealth. And that is one of the things that we are looking at in our tax system, that we are going to look at and change. We've already started by putting surcharges on luxury items. It's not that that will bring a huge amount of money, but at least those who have those items and are well off will share more in the pain of what we have to do. But we have to look even at the corporate and personal income taxes and look at how we use tax as a distributive mechanism. We also have to plug holes. You know, there are people who shift corporations that shift money out of developing countries. And the African finance ministers asked President Thabo Mbeki to take a look at this phenomenon. We had a meeting here in Abuja and help us see what is happening. The estimate of 50 billion being shifted from the whole continent through mispricing, misinvoicing, base shifting, tax erosion. These are the ways that monies are taken out. And if we can also block that, we're having a particular study done for the Nigeria case so that we can see okay, we know all this information Africa-wide. They advised us for your country, have it done. The African Development Bank is supporting us to do that study for Nigeria. And then we will know. Once we have that information, we will be able to pursue those and block that gap.
You and a few ministers have been described as technocrats in government. The result of your inputs would depend on politicians. Have you ever considered going into politics?
You know, when I came to serve, I was just motivated by trying to make things better. The tone of the politics I see in Nigeria is too negative. It's a politics of negativism all the way, and of the type that really discourages our young people. If it is politics, then I want no part of it.
Honorable Minister, we thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And that's our program. Thanks for watching. Please join us again next week when View from the Top returns. But between now and then, let's continue the conversation online at channelstv.com. Thank you again and have a great day.